Good morning, YouTube. I'm recording this with a really, really heavy heart because since posting my first video on YouTube, I've been thinking a lot more than I had previously for a long time about my Jehovah's Witness past and how the programming that I received as a born-in fourth generation Jehovah's Witness has profoundly affected me and continues to do so to this day. More to the point, though, how even after years of therapy and hard work, there are still areas in my life where I'm still effectively letting you, Jehovah's Witness family, call the shots. Still being worried about the feelings and opinions of people who could not care less about my feelings or my opinions or my well being or my survival. Jehovah's Witness family, I need to let you go. I need to let go of you. Because no matter what I do, you're never going to care enough to reach out or even try. You never will. It's all about the Watchtower Society, and nothing matters to you but that. Something happened the other day. See, the same old Facebook post from like 2 or 3 years ago that caused a whole bunch of controversy because it surfaced on my sister's Facebook wall, and she has Jehovah's Witness Facebook friends, unlike myself. Well, a few days ago, someone somewhere liked or commented on that post, and it was just a news article, guys. It was just a regular mainstream news article about the abuse scandal from a reputable news source, and there was not a whole lot of commentary. But despite that, and despite the fact that you have all seen it before and you freaked out last time, here we go again. Jehovah's Witnesses, you are taking the sex abuse scandal personally, as if I'm upset with you, as if I think that you personally have been going around molesting kids, because you have no ability to separate yourself from the governing body or the organization from God. So, of course, I'm getting all of this secondhand because my sister feels bad about being in the middle of it. So here's my advice for you, Jehovah's Witness relatives. If you want to know how I feel about something, you know how to contact me. My sister is not my spokesperson. She does not know or understand how I feel or why I feel that way all the time. You need to understand that if you're going to shun me, you forfeit the right to try to tell me, even indirectly, how I am supposed to feel or try to police me on any issue whatsoever. You lost the right to have an opinion on my choices in my life when you ejected me from my family without a second glance, when I needed you the most. Okay. Oh, hi, YouTube. I have to confess something. This is probably the hardest YouTube video that I have done to date. I've recorded it. This is now the third time. I gave you the pretty raw first time for the beginning there, and then I recorded the second part twice more because I've just struggled with this. I've struggled with how much I want to share and how open I want to be about this. Now, obviously, I'm a pretty open person, and I really don't care what people think about it. Got myself a little liquid courage. Here I am in my 70s era basement once again, and you can see behind me there, that is a picture of myself and my older sister when we were tiny little Jehovah's Witnesses long, long ago. So let's get started with the major points of contention that were relayed to me by my sister with this article. The first thing is why I post articles about the witnesses and not, say, the Catholics. Well, I'll tell you why. It does not take a genius to figure this out. Okay? The witnesses are the ones who raised me. And they are the ones that I have experience with, and they are the ones who protected my abuser and not me. Um, why would you think that I would do an expose on the Catholic Church when I've never been a Catholic? That makes absolutely no sense. I have no firsthand knowledge of the Catholic Church. I mean, this is really what you're saying here is like telling a doctor who has spent 20 years researching pancreatic cancer that he should stop picking on pancreatic cancer because cervical cancer is also a thing. It's goofy. Okay? So let's just move on. Why do I have to talk about this still? I mean, it's been almost 30 years since it all happened, and why can't I just get over it? Guess what? This isn't about you, and you don't get to police it. I'm sorry. It's about me and the fact that I was told to shut up from day one. And now that I've lived with this for so many years and slogged through so much of recovery by myself without your help, I've learned that I was not the only one that this happened to by a long shot. I mean, there are so many people who've been through this. And now I have my own children, and I can't sit down and shut up about this. Not when you, Jehovah's Witness family, want to spend time with my children and ask me when you can have them over to spend the night and when you can take them here or there without me. The answer is the fifth of never, okay? Because I will never risk them. It's not that I think that you're going to molest my children. I know better than that. You're not child molesters. You're not bad people. I said that before. And I care about you. And it's not because I want to hurt you. It's because if anything happened to them, like what happened to me, I would never forgive myself. And as we've already shown, if you actually read the article that got posted, the witnesses cannot be trusted to report to the proper authorities when child molestation happens. So it makes you uncomfortable, but god damn, how do you think I feel? And it's very hard for me to think about as a parent to look at my oldest son who is the same age as I was when all of this happened, when it started. I can look at that baby and I cannot imagine what my parents were thinking. Cannot imagine. Just nuts. Um, so I understand that a lot of you, Jehovah's Witness family, did not know what was going on at the time that it all happened, and I accept that. I understand that. Clearly, both of my parents knew about it, and my mother, being the reigning mouth of the South, would never have gone 30 years without talking to you guys about it. So let's not play games. We know you know about it, and you've known about it long enough to at least try to understand. But you don't. So the result here is that I've never been heard. I've never been allowed to speak out about this, and it's important. And I'm supposed to leave it alone because you have feelings? What about my feelings? Are my feelings ever going to matter to you? I think not. Oh wait, only if I get reinstated, right? Well, and this is why I know that I need to accept things as being the way they are and let go of you. And I'll get there eventually. So the next question is, why do I focus on the Watchtower Society, the Jehovah's Witnesses, and not confronting my specific abuser directly? Well, guys, that's because I did already confront my abuser directly. In fact, I didn't have a choice. I was forced to. Right after it came to light and was reported to the elders, I had to go into a room full of people, which I really wonder why there was a judicial committee about this, since none of the people involved were actually baptized at the time. I think that it had a lot to do with the fact that my parents were going through a very nasty divorce at the time, and my father, who was the presiding overseer, had been recently disfellowshipped for adultery. And all the brothers wanted as many details about that as they could get. It is what it is. I actually still have nightmares about that meeting sometimes. 30 years later. It's not good. But whenever this topic comes up, um, there's always questions about the specific events of the abuse, like what happened, how did he touch you, was it really that bad? Am I sure that I didn't do something that caused it, or encouraged it somehow? It misses the point of this whole discussion, which is there's nothing to be gained by rehashing the actual blow by blow of the abuse when I was 6 and 7 years old. Okay. The fact of the matter is that children cannot consent to sex. Period. Children cannot be at fault for being molested, ever. When a child is molested, it should be reported to the proper authorities immediately. Full stop. There should be no qualifications there. There should be no hemming and hawing about whether you think that it's, warranted or not. I mean, that's what statutory rape is, folks. I mean, even if you have a teenage girl or boy who is madly in love with an adult who's over 18, it's still wrong because that's the law. Now, you might have a situation here or there where a teenager falls in love and something happens before they're old enough, and there's authorities involved, and it's kind of they get married later. Okay, this is way different. Okay, you don't have this kind of thing involving a 7-year-old, right? I mean, that's crazy. And when I say things should be reported, they should be reported to the proper authorities, not the Watchtower Legal Department. We clear? Okay. So I have a question for you, because I would like to know how you define child molestation. See, if having an essentially grown man expose himself to you is not molestation, and if having someone touch you repeatedly and without consent is not molestation, if having someone actually invade your body is not molestation because the perpetrator isn't quite 18 yet, what is molestation? I would love to know. Because, see, to me, it looks sort of like a woman who is in an abusive relationship. You're with somebody and they're really kind of a jerk and you really are over it, but and the way they act is wrong, but they haven't quite racked up enough asshole points yet for you to kick them out. They haven't done anything quite bad enough. So you have to wonder how many asshole points an abusive spouse has to rack up in order for you to just be over it. And it's very similar to what I think of as molestation points if you're a Jehovah's Witness. Because where's the yardstick? What actually counts? If what happened to me does not count, let me elaborate just a little bit here. Things that happened to me when I was 7. A married couple who are Jehovah's Witnesses who consensually do the same thing might get reproved or disfellowshipped for the same act, okay? And you say it's not molestation because he wasn't 18. I don't even know what to say about that. That's just crazy. Now, clearly there is an arbitrary judgment made about whether or not the victim asked for it. A lot depends on your appearance, because I was told that I was a cute little girl and I might have just seduced him, and I should be very careful in the future, work very hard so that Jehovah would forgive me. Where's the line? Where is it? Because there are a lot of very clear and very arbitrary lines as a Jehovah's Witness about a lot of other things, like, oh, I don't know, get caught smoking a cigarette. Yeah. Let someone drive by a voting precinct on election day and see your car in the parking lot. Yeah, Those are very clear lines, and it's very clear what's going to happen to you when you do that. But that's not the case with child molestation. So molest a kid, must have been the kid's fault, especially if it was a girl. I mean, we'll let him skate with the reproof. That's punishment enough, right? So not being able to comment at the Watchtower study is certainly an appropriate punishment for forcing yourself on a little girl, isn't it? I mean, for bonus points, you don't even have to pre-study the Watchtower and highlight and crap because you weren't allowed to comment. Guys, this is shocking. It's crazy. What are you thinking? Are you out of your mind? That's the questions that I have for you. And the sad part is that you think that the society has changed their policies since all this happened to me in the last 30 years. And you're confusing that with their doctrines because they've changed quite a few of those since I've been gone. However, they have not changed their policy on child abuse reporting. Do you know how I know about the doctrine changes and the changes to how, or the non-changes to how they deal with child abuse? It's because all the letters to the elders from the society and all of the secret elders manuals and stuff like that, they're all out there online, guys. And there have been elders who have actually left the witnesses over this. Elders in good standing who never did anything wrong. They just left because of this policy. If you look at silentlambs.org, you might learn something. Anyway, even JW Broadcasting in the past couple weeks has put out a statement saying that they're not doing away with the two-witness rule, which basically means it's impossible to prove child molestation anyway. Because, I mean, what child molester is going to be like, hey, George, come over here. I'm about to mess with this kid, and I'd like to make sure I have a witness. And I know that you're like, oh my God, you can't read the elder's manual. It's not allowed, so it doesn't count. This is something else that doesn't count, just like me. Right? Well, my question to you is it true or not? Yeah? Yeah, it is. So guess what? They are protecting child molesters, and you, by blindly following their policies without question, are enabling it, whether you like it or not. It's reality. Guess what else you don't know about? The Watchtower Society right now is willing to pay fines to the tune of $4,000 a day to keep from turning over their database of reported pedophiles within the congregation in the U.S. Those fines right now are up to $2 million. $2 million. Guys, I'm just saying, where there's smoke, there's fire, y'all. The only reason that they would refuse to turn over records with that kind of fine every day is if they have something really big to hide. Now, after watching the Australian Royal Commission hearings, which a public record, again, those hearings showed a governing body member lying on the stand, first of all, and second, over 1,000 unreported pedophiles among the Jehovah's Witnesses in Australia alone. Now, that's not 1,000 incidents. That's 1,000 individuals who may have molested multiple children over the course of their time in the congregations. That's nuts. And for that to be out there in the public record, and the Watchtower Society is still saying that they're not going to turn over the records for the U.S. to the tune of $2 million now? Oh, the numbers for the U.S. must be really bad. Why are they keeping a database on them anyway? Why not just do something about it? Why not just report them to the authorities like they're supposed to? It's crazy. And you know what, y'all? I can hear you screeching, apostates, from here. I can. Well, can we just please put a lid on the hysteria for a minute? Because, like I said, this stuff's public record. And while you're at it, grow up. Because this is not about you personally, just like I said. It's about the society and their refusal to protect children. Why did I leave the family? Why did you leave us? And I don't know whether to be sad about this or to just be angry. I'm kind of both. See, because I didn't leave y'all. Y'all kicked me out as hard as you could. I didn't choose to be shunned by my family any more than I chose to be molested when I was. You have chosen to do the shunning, and I have been honest about my beliefs and my actions and my behavior, and I'm the only one who's responsible for my life, and I'm fine with that. You are also responsible for your own behavior, okay? And I have never, ever done anything to deserve this. Never. Oh, but you had sex that time. Yeah, sure did. It really wasn't that great, honestly. I mean, why is that any of your business again? Can you just tell me? Because I really would like to know. But just in case that you're so uncomfortable about listening to anything without some scriptures thrown in, I'll throw one at you. I believe it was Jesus Christ who said, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. See, it seems to me that y'all like to cast stones, particularly in my direction. But don't forget, I grew up with y'all, and I know things about some of you too. I'm not the only person in this family who's ever made an unfortunate choice. But guess who gets shunned? That's right, me. And one other person who was unfortunate enough to let you coerce him into baptism before we actually knew what it meant. I never left you. I didn't. I left. And to the ex Jehovah's Witnesses out there watching this, you can see that there are parts of recovery that are really hard and that take a really long time. Seeing and accepting things and people for what and who they really are can really suck out loud sometimes. And there are still days when it just feels like a kick in the teeth all over again. But the thing about me is that I will not give up and I will not give in when I know I'm right. See, I believe that my family is made up of really good people, deep down. I'm worried that they'll never dig deep enough to realize that or to realize how badly that they're behaving. But if and when they ever decide to stop being closed-minded and hypocritical, they'll find that my door is still open. But I'm not going to chase them anymore. And I'm going to protect myself. I'm going to protect my children. But Jehovah's Witness family, don't ever think that I'm the only one who has hard personal work to do. Because y'all people need therapy.